Imagine you go to work tomorrow morning. Same as always. You grab your keys, you get on the train, you walk to the door, and the lock has been changed. No phone call, no warning, no explanation, just a note on the door that says, "We're closed." That's what happened to Maria. 43 years old, mother of 3, 12 years working for the same company. And on the 23rd of January 2012, she found out she no longer had a job, along with 49,999 other people, on the same day. 11 billion euros. That's enough to give every single person in Germany 130 euros in cash. Gone. This is the story of Schlecker, the biggest drugstore empire in German history, and the 3 decisions that destroyed it from the inside. Welcome back to Success Explained Like You're 5. I'm going to tell you this story so simply that a child could follow it. 3 mistakes, 3 lessons, and 1 thing you can do today so this never happens to you. Let's go. Anton Schlecker was born in 1944 in a small town in Baden-Württemberg. His father ran a butcher shop. Anton grew up watching what it meant to work hard and build something with your hands. In 1975, he opened his first drugstore. The idea was brutally simple. Small stores, cheap products, everywhere. Not fancy, not impressive, just always there, always affordable. And it worked. Through the 80s, it spread. Through the 90s, it exploded. Schlecker didn't stop at Germany. He moved into Austria, Spain, France, Eastern Europe. Country after country after country. At its absolute peak, 14,000 stores, 13 countries, more than 50,000 people, like Maria, depending on him for their income. To put that in perspective, 14,000 stores is more locations than McDonald's has in all of Europe. Anton Schlecker wasn't just a businessman. He was untouchable, or so he thought. Here is where the story gets uncomfortable. Most companies fail because of outside forces, a smarter competitor, a global crisis, a technology that makes them irrelevant. Those stories are easy to understand, easy to forgive. But Schlecker? When the competition was growing, Schlecker was still bigger. When the internet arrived, Schlecker had the money to adapt. When employees were leaving, Schlecker had every reason to keep them. Schlecker failed because of Schlecker. 3 choices. 3 moments, where a different decision would have changed everything. Let me explain this the way I'd explain it to a 5-year-old. Imagine your mom takes you shopping every Saturday. Same store, always the same store. It's nothing special, a bit dark, a bit cramped, but it's close, and it's cheap. Then one day, a brand new store opens 5 minutes away. The floors are bright, the shelves are full, and when you walk in, a real person smiles at you and says hello. Where does your mom go next Saturday? You already know. That's exactly what happened to Schlecker in the early 2000s. DM started investing. Rossmann started upgrading. Better lighting, better products, staff who were actually trained to be helpful. They were building somewhere people wanted to be. And Schlecker? Schlecker cut wages. Schlecker reduced staff hours. Schlecker monitored employees. Some reports say with hidden cameras. Workers described the atmosphere as one of fear, not motivation, not pride, fear. And here is the chain reaction nobody talks about. An unhappy employee gives bad service. A customer who gets bad service doesn't come back. A store that loses customers loses revenue. A company that loses revenue cuts costs even harder, which makes employees even more miserable, which drives even more customers away. It's a spiral, and once it starts, it feeds itself. Maria felt it. Every day a little more pressure. Every month, a little less in her paycheck. And every week, a few more customers choosing the new store down the road instead. But as bad as that was, mistake number 2 is the one that I still cannot believe actually happened. The year is 2005. Amazon is growing. Online shopping is spreading fast. People are starting to realize you don't have to go anywhere. The store comes to you. Shampoo, soap, toothpaste, everything Schlecker sold, available online, delivered tomorrow. And Schlecker watched this happen. They weren't blind to it. They saw Amazon. They saw the numbers. They understood that behavior was changing, and they decided it wasn't for them. The logic seemed reasonable at the time. Our stores are everywhere. Why would anyone order online what they can pick up around the corner in 2 minutes? But that logic missed one crucial thing. People don't just want convenience of location, they want convenience of effort. Clicking twice from your sofa on a Tuesday evening? That is less effort than getting dressed, finding parking, walking through a store that feels cold and unwelcoming, and waiting in a checkout queue. To put it simply, if going to your store feels like work, people will find a way to avoid it. By the time Schlecker launched a half-hearted online effort, the habit had already formed somewhere else. And habits, once formed, are almost impossible to break. 2 mistakes. A damaged workforce, a missed revolution. But what Schlecker did next is the part of this story that made headlines across Germany. By 2011, the warning signs were impossible to ignore. Sales collapsing, stores closing, debt mounting. The company was bleeding, and everyone inside could see it. But instead of trying to save it, Anton Schlecker transferred large amounts of company assets to his family, his wife, his son, his daughter. Millions of euros quietly moved out of the company. When Schlecker filed for insolvency in January 2012, investigators found the transfers. Anton Schlecker was convicted of deliberately concealing assets before bankruptcy. His son and daughter received actual prison sentences. Think about what that means. 50,000 people like Maria, lost their jobs, their income, their stability. While the family that built the company was protecting their own wealth. Not trying to save the business, not trying to protect the employees, protecting themselves. That was mistake number 3. And it wasn't incompetence, it wasn't bad strategy, it was a choice. January 23, 2012. The doors close. 14,000 stores, empty. 50,000 families, affected. 11 billion euros, gone. And while the last Schlecker stores were pulling down their shutters, DM and Rossmann were opening new ones. The competitors who had once been smaller had become giants, built entirely on the customers Schlecker had pushed away. So what does a 50,000-person empire have to do with you? Everything. Because here is what the Schlecker story actually teaches us, and it has nothing to do with running a large corporation. Schlecker didn't collapse in one moment. He collapsed in 1,000 small ones. One manager who chose fear over trust. One board meeting where nobody pushed back. One year where the trend was noticed and then ignored. One transfer that crossed a legal line. Small decisions, made quietly, over years, until the weight became impossible to carry. Now think about your own business for a second. The receipt you didn't file last month. The folder on your desk that you keep moving from one side to the other. The system you know needs fixing, but it hasn't caused a real problem yet. The thing you told yourself you'd sort out next month. Those things feel small, because today they are small, but they compound. Quietly, invisibly. And one day, whether it's a tax audit, a missed deduction, a fine, or simply 2 hours of panic trying to find a single piece of paper, the bill arrives. Maria didn't cause Schlecker to collapse, but she paid the price. You are not Schlecker, you are Maria. And unlike Maria, you still have time to choose differently. Here is your one thing for today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Open your phone, set a timer for 2 minutes. Find the last 3 receipts in your bag, your wallet, or on your desk. Take a photo of each one. Put them in one folder. That's it. 2 minutes. That is the opposite of what Schlecker did. 3 mistakes, 1 empire, gone. If this made you think, hit subscribe. Because next week I'm covering a company that didn't just lose money, they invented money that never existed. 1.9 billion euros, on paper. In reality, nothing. The auditors looked right at it and saw nothing. How is that even possible? See you then.